He took the blows for her daughter. Now the Queen wants him forever. Part 1. The Sacrifice. The maintenance corridors of the Celestial Crown hummed with the quiet rhythm of a ship, carrying the most important passengers in the galaxy. Marcus Chen wiped grease from his hands as he finished repairing another ventilation unit. 3 months he had worked on this luxury starship, and he still couldn't believe how massive it was. The ship carried diplomats, nobles, and royalty from dozens of different alien species. Marcus was one of only 50 humans aboard the vessel of 10,000 passengers. Most aliens saw humans as useful workers, strong enough for manual labor, smart enough to fix complex machines, but not important enough to worry about. That suited Marcus just fine. He needed this job to support his daughter back on Earth. The main corridor echoed with alien voices as Marcus walked toward the mess hall. Tonight was different. The ship carried Princess Lyrelai of the Zephyrian Empire, traveling to peace talks with the Corvan Federation. Marcus had never seen Zephyrian royalty before, but he heard they were powerful telepaths who could read minds and control thoughts. As he turned a corner toward the dining area, Marcus heard sounds that made his blood run cold. Loud voices, cruel laughter, and underneath it all, someone crying. Marcus stopped. He knew he should mind his own business. Humans who got involved in alien affairs usually ended up dead or worse, but those cries sounded young, frightened. He followed the sounds down a side corridor used for storage. What he saw made his heart pound with rage. 3 large aliens had cornered a young girl against the wall. Marcus recognized them as Corvan nobles. Their blue skin was dark with anger, and their crystalline claws gleamed in the dim light. The girl couldn't be more than 16 in human years. Her silver skin and pointed ears marked her as Zephyrian, royal Zephyrian, judging by her elegant clothes. This had to be Princess Lyrelai. Please leave me alone, the princess begged, tears streaming down her face. I haven't done anything wrong. The largest Corvan laughed. His voice sounded like grinding stone. You exist, little princess. That's wrong enough. Your kind thinks you're better than everyone else with your mind tricks. But the peace talks, she started. The peace talks are a joke, another Corvan snarled. Your mother sends a child to negotiate with warriors. Pathetic. He raised his clawed hand. Marcus didn't think. He just moved. Hey, Marcus shouted, stepping into the corridor. Leave her alone. The 3 Corvans turned toward him. Each one was twice his size, with skin like rock and claws that could cut through steel. Marcus felt his mouth go dry, but he didn't back down. The largest Corvan tilted his head. A human here? He laughed again. This gets better and better. First a crying princess, now a maintenance monkey thinks he can play hero. I'm not playing anything, Marcus said, moving slowly to put himself between the aliens and the girl. You're scaring her. Just walk away. Walk away? The Corvan's eyes glowed with amusement. Do you know what happens to humans who interfere in noble business? Do you know what happens to anyone who touches Zephyrian royalty without permission? Marcus did know. Death, usually slow and painful death. But when he glanced back at the princess, he saw his own daughter Sarah's face. Same age, same fear. If Sarah was in trouble somewhere in the galaxy, he would want someone to help her, even if that someone was just a maintenance worker. I know, Marcus said quietly, but I can't walk away from this. The Corvan's expression changed from amusement to anger. Then you die with her. The first blow hit Marcus in the chest like a hammer. The crystalline fist cracked against his ribs and he felt something break. But instead of falling back, Marcus stepped forward, keeping himself between the aliens and the princess. Run, he gasped to the girl. Find security. I can't leave you, she started. Go, Marcus shouted just before the second Corvan's claws raked across his shoulder. The princess hesitated for one more second, then ran down the corridor. Now all 3 Corvans focused on Marcus. They surrounded him, their faces twisted with rage. Stupid human, the leader growled. We'll make you suffer for this. The beating began in earnest. Crystalline fists pounded into Marcus's body. Claws tore at his clothes and skin. Each blow felt like being hit by a sledgehammer. Marcus had been in fights before. Growing up in the slums of Earth taught you how to take punishment, but nothing like this. The aliens were trying to break him, to make him beg and scream. Marcus gritted his teeth and refused to give them the satisfaction. Every time he fell, he got back up. Every time they demanded he apologize, he stayed silent. Why won't you stay down? One of the Corvans panted after several minutes. Why do you keep getting up? Marcus spat blood and looked up at them. His left eye was swollen shut. His ribs screamed with every breath, and he was pretty sure his left arm was broken, but he was still standing. Because, Marcus said through split lips, someone has to. That answer seemed to enrage them even more. The beating continued, each blow worse than the last. Marcus's vision started to blur. His legs began to shake, but every time he thought about giving up, he pictured the terror in the princess's eyes. He pictured his daughter, Sarah. He pictured every helpless person who needed someone to stand up for them. Marcus lost track of time. The corridor spun around him. Blood filled his mouth and nose. His body felt like it was on fire. But he didn't fall. Not completely. Even when his knees hit the floor, he kept his head up. Even when his arms wouldn't lift anymore, he stayed between where the princess had been and her attackers. The sound of running footsteps echoed through the corridor. Security forces rounded the corner, 6 armed guards in full combat gear. "What's going on here?" the security chief barked. The 3 Corvins immediately stepped back, their faces switching to innocent expressions. The largest one pointed at Marcus. "This human attacked us," he said smoothly. "We were simply defending ourselves. He was trying to assault Princess Lyrelai. We stopped him before he could harm her." Marcus tried to speak, to tell the truth, but only blood came out of his mouth. He collapsed forward, his body finally giving up. "The human is unconscious," one of the guards reported. "Should we take him to medical?" "Take him to the brig," the security chief ordered. "We'll question him when he wakes up. And get a medical team to check these noble guests for injuries." As the guards lifted Marcus's broken body, he heard one of the Corvins whisper, "Stupid human, should have minded your own business." The last thing Marcus saw before unconsciousness took him was the security chief bowing apologetically to the 3 aliens. No one asked where the princess was. No one asked why a maintenance worker would randomly attack 3 armed nobles. No one cared about the truth. But Marcus didn't regret his choice. Even as pain consumed him, even as they dragged him away like a criminal, he didn't regret it. Someone had needed help, and he had helped. That was enough. What Marcus didn't know was that Princess Lyrelai had found more than just security. She had run straight to the communication center and sent an emergency message to her mother. What Marcus couldn't have imagined was that Queen Zalthira was already on her way to the ship, traveling faster than anyone thought possible. And what none of them knew was that the Queen's telepathic powers would reveal the truth of what happened in that corridor and change Marcus Chen's life forever. He took the blows for her daughter. Now the Queen wants him forever. Part 2. The truth unveiled. Marcus woke up to the sound of metal doors sliding open. His entire body felt like he had been hit by a cargo transport. Every breath sent sharp pain through his ribs. His left eye was still swollen shut and his arm hung in a medical sling. He was in the ship's medical bay, not the brig like he expected. Confused, Marcus tried to sit up, but a gentle hand pushed him back down. "Rest, human," a soft voice said. "You have suffered enough." Marcus turned his head and gasped. Standing beside his bed was the most beautiful and terrifying being he had ever seen. She was tall and elegant, with silver skin that seemed to glow in the medical bay's lights. Her eyes were like liquid starlight, and they seemed to look right through him. This had to be Queen Zalthira herself. "Your Majesty," Marcus tried to say, but his voice came out as a croak. "Do not speak yet," the Queen said. Her voice was musical but carried absolute authority. "Your injuries are severe. The medical team has done what they can, but human healing takes time." Behind the Queen stood Princess Lyrelai, looking worried and guilty. Her eyes were red from crying. "I'm sorry," the princess whispered. "This is all my fault. If I had been stronger—" "You did nothing wrong, daughter," Queen Zalthira said firmly. Then she looked back at Marcus. "You, however, did something very interesting, Marcus Chen." Marcus's eyes widened. How did she know his name? How did she know anything about him? The Queen seemed to read his confusion. "I know many things about you now. I know you have a daughter named Sarah on Earth. I know you send most of your salary to support her education. I know you have worked on 17 different ships over the past 5 years, always with perfect records." "How?" Marcus managed to ask. "I am telepathic," the Queen said simply. "I can read the thoughts and memories of most beings in the galaxy. It is how I knew the truth about what happened in that corridor." Marcus felt a chill. If she could read his mind, she would know how scared he had been. How he had almost run away. How he still didn't understand why he had stayed to fight. But Queen Zalthira smiled slightly. You cannot hide your thoughts from me, Marcus Chen, and that is what makes you so fascinating. I don't understand, Marcus said. Most species bow to Zephyrian telepathy, the Queen explained. When I touch their minds, I can control their thoughts, make them obey my will. It is how we have ruled our empire for thousands of years. She moved closer to his bed, and Marcus felt a strange tingling in his head. But humans are different, she continued. Your minds are resistant. I can read your surface thoughts, your memories, but I cannot control you. You think and feel with a strength that defies my power. Marcus didn't know what to say. He had never thought of himself as strong. He was just a maintenance worker trying to make enough money to give his daughter a better life. You want to know why you risked your life for my daughter? The Queen said, reading his thoughts again. The answer is simple. You saw someone in need and your heart would not let you walk away. This is not weakness, Marcus Chen. It is the greatest strength I have ever encountered. Princess Lorelei stepped forward. Mother, the nobles who attacked me, what will happen to them? Queen Zalthira's expression grew cold. I have already dealt with them. When I arrived on this ship, I used my abilities to extract the truth from every witness. The security recordings also confirmed what really happened. And, Marcus asked, the 3 Corvan nobles have been stripped of their titles and exiled from both their homeworld and mine, the Queen said with satisfaction. They will spend the rest of their lives as outcasts, remembered only for their cowardice in attacking a child. Marcus felt relief wash over him. Justice had been served. The security chief who ignored the truth has also been removed from his position, the Queen added. He chose politics over justice. I do not tolerate such behavior on my ships. She sat down in the chair beside Marcus's bed. For a moment she looked less like a powerful alien queen and more like a worried mother. My daughter told me what you said to her, the Queen said quietly. You told her to run, to find help. Even while being beaten nearly to death, you were thinking of her safety first. Marcus looked at the princess. Are you okay? Did they hurt you? No, Princess Lorelei said, tears forming in her eyes again. Because of you. You saved me. I have a daughter, Marcus said simply. I would want someone to help her if she was in trouble. Queen Zalthira leaned forward, studying Marcus's face intently. Tell me about her. About your Sarah, Marcus's expression softened. Despite his pain, talking about his daughter always made him feel better. She's brilliant, he said. Smarter than me by far. She's studying xenobiology at the university on Earth. She wants to be a doctor, maybe work on one of the colony worlds helping different species. She sounds wonderful, the Queen said. How old is she? 18. Same age as... Marcus looked at the princess. Same age as Princess Lorelei, I think. 17 in your human years, the Queen confirmed. And like your daughter, she is intelligent and caring. But unlike your Sarah, my Lorelei has lived a sheltered life. She has never seen real cruelty until today. Marcus understood. It's hard to protect them from everything. The galaxy can be dangerous. Yes, Queen Zalthira said thoughtfully. Which brings me to why I am really here. Marcus waited, sensing something important was coming. I have studied humans for years, the Queen said. Your species fascinates me. You have no telepathy, no advanced technology compared to other races, no natural weapons or armor. By all logic, you should be weak. We are weak, Marcus said. Compared to most aliens, anyway. No, the Queen said firmly. That is where you are wrong. You have something that makes you stronger than any of us. You have heart. She stood up and began pacing, her thoughts clearly racing. My people rule through fear and mental dominance, she explained. The Corvans rule through physical strength. The Vaxians rule through technology. But humans rule through something else entirely. We don't rule anyone, Marcus pointed out, don't you? The Queen challenged. In 3 months on this ship, how many aliens have come to you for help with problems? How many have asked your advice? How many trust you more than their own kind? Marcus thought about it. It was true that other workers often came to him when they had troubles. Even some of the alien passengers had started asking for his help with small problems. I noticed, Queen Zalthira said. You do not command through fear or power. You lead through example. You help because you want to help, not because you expect reward. This creates a loyalty that cannot be forced or bought. The Queen stopped pacing and looked directly at Marcus. I want you to teach my daughter, she said suddenly. Teach her what? Marcus asked, confused. How to be human. Princess Lyrelei looked surprised. Mother? Not literally, the queen clarified. But I want her to learn what makes humans special. I want her to understand courage that comes from the heart, not from power. I want her to learn how to inspire loyalty through kindness, not fear. Marcus stared at her. You want a maintenance worker to teach a princess? I want a hero to teach my daughter how to be a hero, Queen Zalthyra corrected. Will you do it? Marcus looked at Princess Lyrelei, who was watching him with hopeful eyes. Then he thought about his own daughter, far away on Earth. Would this somehow help him provide for her? Would it help make the galaxy a safer place for young people like Sarah and Lyrelei? What exactly would you want me to do? Marcus asked carefully. Stay on my ship, the queen said. Serve as my daughter's personal guard and cultural advisor. Teach her about human courage, human wisdom, human heart. And in return? Queen Zalthyra smiled. In return, Marcus Chen, I will give you something no human has ever possessed. Real power in my empire, and the resources to ensure your daughter has the best education in the galaxy. Marcus felt his heart skip a beat. This could change everything for Sarah, but it also sounded too good to be true. There's a catch, isn't there? He asked. Several, the queen admitted. Many of my nobles will hate you for holding such a position. Some will try to kill you, others will try to use you, and you will be forever separated from your human life. She leaned forward again. But Marcus Chen, I believe you are exactly what my empire needs. What my daughter needs. The question is, are you brave enough to accept? Marcus closed his eyes and thought of Sarah. Then he thought of Princess Lyrelei's frightened face in that corridor. Finally, he opened his eyes and looked at the most powerful being in the Zephyrian Empire. When do we start? He said. He took the blows for her daughter. Now the Queen wants him forever, Part 3. The test 2 weeks after accepting Queen Zalthyra's offer. Marcus stood in the royal training room aboard the Queen's flagship, the Eternal Dawn. His ribs had healed, but his new life came with challenges he never expected. Again, Marcus said patiently, as Princess Lyrelei stumbled through a basic self-defense move. Remember, you're not trying to overpower an attacker. You're trying to escape. The princess wiped sweat from her forehead, frustrated. This is impossible. Zephyrians use mental power, not physical combat. Why can't I just control their minds? Because your telepathy doesn't work on everyone, Marcus explained. And some species can block mental attacks. What happens then? Princess Lyrelei sighed but got back into position. Around them, the advanced training room could create any environment or opponent they needed. Today, Marcus had set it to simulate a simple corridor like where the attack happened. Besides, Marcus added with a smile, your mother specifically asked me to teach you how humans survive. We don't have telepathy, so we learned other ways. Over the past 2 weeks, Marcus had discovered that his new position came with serious problems. Half the Zephyrian nobles treated him like dirt, angry that a lower species human now outranked them. The other half tried to use him to gain favor with the queen. Both groups made his life difficult. Lord Vextar, the queen's own brother, was the worst. He led a group of nobles who believed aliens were inferior and should never hold positions of power in the Zephyrian Empire. Every day, Lord Vextar found new ways to insult or humiliate Marcus. Focus, Marcus told the princess as she attempted the defense move again. In human history, we learned that survival isn't about being the strongest. It's about being smart, adaptable, and never giving up. This time, Princess Lyrelei executed the move perfectly, breaking free from the simulated attacker. Excellent, Marcus said. See? You don't need to be stronger than your opponent. You just need to be smarter. Unknown to both of them, Queen Zalthyra watched from a hidden observation deck above the training room. She had been secretly observing their lessons every day, fascinated by what she saw. Marcus wasn't just teaching her daughter combat moves. He was teaching her about human philosophy, about turning weakness into strength, about emotional resilience. Most importantly, he was teaching her that leadership came from earning respect, not demanding it. Tell me about Earth's wars, Princess Lyrelei said during their break, sitting cross-legged on the training mat. You mentioned them before. Marcus sat down across from her, thinking carefully about how to explain. Humans have always fought each other. For thousands of years, we had wars over territory, resources, beliefs, even skin color. That sounds horrible, the princess said. It was, Marcus agreed. But we learned important lessons from all that fighting. We learned that the strongest army doesn't always win, Sometimes the smartest army wins, sometimes the most determined army wins, and sometimes the army fighting for the right reasons wins. He pulled up a hologram showing Earth's history. Look at this battle. A small group of soldiers held a mountain pass against an army 10 times larger. They knew they would die, but they fought anyway to protect their people. Princess Lyra studied the image. Why didn't they retreat? Because sometimes retreat isn't an option, Marcus said. Sometimes you have to stand and fight even when you can't win because it's the right thing to do. The princess was quiet for a long moment. Like what you did for me. Exactly like that, Marcus said. I couldn't beat those 3 nobles. I knew I couldn't, but I couldn't let them hurt you either. Their conversation was interrupted by the training room doors sliding open. Lord Vextar strode in with 4 other nobles, all looking angry. So this is where our precious human teaches the future queen to crawl in the dirt like an animal. Lord Vextar sneered. His silver skin was darker than usual, showing his anger. Marcus stood up, placing himself slightly in front of the princess. Lord Vextar, we're in the middle of a training session. Training? Lord Vextar laughed coldly. You're teaching our princess to fight like a savage. Zephyrians are above such crude methods. Uncle, Princess Lyra started, but Lord Vextar cut her off with a gesture. Silence, child. This human has poisoned your mind with his primitive thinking. He turned his glowing eyes on Marcus. You forget your place, maintenance worker. You are here at my sister's whim. Nothing more. Marcus felt the familiar tingle in his head that meant a Zephyrian was trying to use telepathy on him. Lord Vextar was attempting to force him to kneel, to humiliate him in front of the princess. But the mental attack slid off Marcus like water off stone. Human minds were naturally resistant to telepathic control, and Marcus had been strengthening his mental defenses since coming aboard. Lord Vexatar's eyes widened in surprise and rage when his power failed. Impossible. Not impossible, Marcus said calmly. Just human. That answer made Lord Vextar even angrier. He stepped forward, his clawed hands beginning to glow with energy. Perhaps we should test how resistant you are to physical pain. Uncle, stop. Princess Lyra moved to stand beside Marcus. He is under my mother's protection. Your mother is not here, Lord Vextar snarled. And accidents happen during training sessions. The other nobles spread out surrounding Marcus and the princess. Marcus quickly calculated odds. 5 trained Zephyrian warriors against 1 injured human and an inexperienced teenager. Not good. But Marcus had learned something important over the past 2 weeks. Princess Lyra was stronger than anyone realized. She just needed someone to believe in her. Remember what we practiced, he said quietly to her. Work together, stay calm, and never give up. I remember, she whispered back. Lord Vextar raised his hand, energy crackling between his fingers. Prepare to learn your place, human. The attack came fast, but Marcus was ready. He dove sideways, rolling behind one of the training obstacles. Energy blasts scorched the air where he had been standing. Lyra, now, Marcus shouted. The princess surprised everyone by not running or calling for help. Instead, she used her telepathy in a way Marcus had taught her, not to control but to confuse. She projected chaotic thoughts and emotions at the attacking nobles, making them dizzy and disoriented. While they stumbled, Marcus moved. He had spent 2 weeks studying Zephyrian combat techniques looking for weaknesses. He found them. Zephyrians relied heavily on their energy attacks and telepathy. They weren't used to opponents who fought dirty, who used the environment as a weapon, who attacked from unexpected angles. Marcus grabbed a training staff and struck Lord Vextar behind the knee, dropping him to the ground. Then he spun and swept another noble's leg, sending him crashing into a wall. Impossible, one of the nobles gasped. How can a human fight like this? Easy, Marcus panted, dodging another energy blast. We've been practicing warfare for thousands of years. You've been relying on telepathy. Princess Lyra was holding her own, using the mental confusion techniques Marcus had taught her combined with traditional Zephyrian combat. She wasn't trying to overpower her opponents. She was outthinking them. The fight continued for several minutes with Marcus and the princess working as a team. Every time one of them was in trouble, the other provided support. They covered each other's weaknesses and combined their strengths. Finally, Lord Vextar and his followers retreated, beaten and humiliated by a human and a teenage girl. This isn't over. Human, Lord Vextar snarled as he limped toward the exit. My sister's protection won't last forever. After they left, Princess Lirelei collapsed onto a training mat, exhausted but exhilarated. We did it, she gasped. We actually won! You did great, Marcus said, sitting down beside her. His shoulder was burned from an energy blast, but he was grinning. You remembered everything. Stay calm, work together, never give up. I felt different, the princess said. Stronger. Not because of my telepathy, but because of something else. That's confidence, Marcus explained. Real confidence doesn't come from having power over others. It comes from knowing you can handle whatever happens. Above them, Queen Zalthira had watched the entire fight. She felt a mixture of pride and concern. Pride because her daughter had shown incredible growth and courage. Concern because Lord Vextar's threat was real. The Queen realized that Marcus's influence was changing more than just her daughter. His ideas about leadership, about strength through unity rather than domination, were spreading through her empire. Some people loved these changes. Others, like her brother, saw them as dangerous threats to the old ways. That night, as Marcus treated his wounds in his quarters, he received a message on his communication device. It was from his daughter Sarah on Earth. Dad, I got accepted into the advanced xenobiology program. Sarah's excited face filled the screen. The scholarship you arranged is amazing. I'll be able to study on 3 different colony worlds. Thank you so much. Marcus smiled, feeling warm despite his injuries. Working for Queen Zalthira was dangerous, but it was giving his daughter opportunities he never could have provided as a simple maintenance worker. He was about to turn off the message when Sarah's expression grew serious. Dad, be careful out there. I've been researching the Zephyrian Empire for my studies. There are a lot of political tensions right now. Some groups. He took the blows for her daughter. Now the Queen wants him forever, Part 4. The proposal, the Bridge of the Eternal Dawn, was in chaos when Marcus arrived. Officers shouted reports while red warning lights flashed everywhere. Queen Zalthira stood in the center, her face calm but her silver skin glowing with barely controlled power. Report, she commanded as Marcus approached. Captain Zorith, the ship's commander, looked grim. My queen, we have received a transmission from Lord Vextar. He has taken control of the ancient fortress on Kethmaran. He holds prisoners there. Marcus felt his blood run cold. What prisoners? The queen turned to him and Marcus saw something in her eyes he had never seen before. Fear. Your daughter Sarah, she said quietly, and Princess Lirelei. The world seemed to spin around Marcus. How? Sarah was on Earth. She was safe. I brought her here, Queen Zalthira said, guilt heavy in her voice. 3 days ago. I wanted to surprise you both. Your daughter is brilliant, Marcus. I offered her a place in our Royal Academy, studying xenobiology with the best teachers in the galaxy. Marcus staggered backward. His daughter, his precious Sarah, was in the hands of Lord Vextar, the Zephyrian who hated humans more than anything else in the universe. And Lirelei? Marcus asked, though he dreaded the answer. She went to welcome your daughter to the ship, the Queen said. They were together when Vextar's soldiers attacked. My brother planned this perfectly. He waited until I was in council meetings, until you were in the training rooms, until both girls were alone. Captain Zorith activated the main screen. Lord Vextar's face appeared. His silver features twisted with cold satisfaction. Sister, he said mockingly, I trust you have been informed of the situation. Release them, Vextar, Queen Zalthira commanded, her voice filled with dangerous power. They are children. This is between us, Lord Vextar laughed. Between us? No, sister. This is about saving our empire from the corruption you have allowed to spread. This human pet of yours has poisoned your mind and our daughter's mind with his primitive ideas. Marcus stepped forward. Let them go. I'm the one you want. Ah, the maintenance worker speaks, Lord Vextar sneered. Yes, Marcus Chen, you are exactly who I want. You see, I have a proposal for both of you. The screen split, showing 2 different prison cells. In one, Princess Lirelei sat on a stone bench trying to comfort someone. In the other cell, Marcus saw his daughter Sarah for the first time in months. She looked older, more mature, but just as beautiful as he remembered. Her dark hair was tied back and she wore the simple clothes of a student. Even in captivity, she held herself with dignity that made Marcus proud. Sarah, he whispered. On the screen, his daughter looked up as if she had heard him. She mouthed the word Dad and pressed her hand against the cell door. Touching, Lord Vextar said coldly. Now here is my proposal. Sister, You will abdicate the throne and name me as your successor. You will also banish all non-Zephyrians from positions of power in our empire. Never, Queen Zalthyra said immediately. I thought you might say that, Lord Vextar continued. So here is the alternative. Marcus Chen, you will come to Keth Moran alone. You will confess to being a spy sent to weaken our empire. You will publicly apologize for corrupting our princess with your inferior human ideas. And then you will submit to execution. Marcus felt the Queen's hand on his shoulder. Marcus, no. We will find another way. If you refuse, Lord Vextar said, both girls will suffer the consequences. The fortress of Keth Moran has many ancient devices designed to test the limits of mental and physical endurance. I wonder how long young minds can resist such methods. The threat was clear. Marcus closed his eyes, thinking of everything that had led him to this moment. 6 months ago, he was a simple maintenance worker just trying to support his daughter. Now he was being asked to choose between his life and the lives of 2 young girls. It wasn't really a choice at all. I'll come, Marcus said. Marcus, no. Queen Zalthyra grabbed his arm. I forbid it. I am your queen and I command you to stay. Marcus looked at her with sad eyes. Your Majesty, you taught me that real leadership means taking responsibility for those under your protection. Sarah is my daughter. Lyrelei is like a daughter to me now. I can't let them suffer because of choices I made. This is exactly what Vextar wants, the Queen argued. Your death will prove to the Empire that humans are weak, that cooperation with other species is pointless. It will undo everything we've worked for. Maybe, Marcus said. Or maybe it will prove something else entirely. He turned back to the screen where Lord Vextar waited with obvious satisfaction. I accept your terms, Marcus announced. But I want to add conditions of my own. Lord Vextar raised an eyebrow. You are hardly in a position to negotiate, human. Actually, I am, Marcus said calmly. You need me to come willingly for your plan to work. If I resist, if I fight, if I make you drag me there by force, it ruins the narrative you want to create. The Queen stared at Marcus with new respect. Even facing death, he was thinking strategically. What conditions? Lord Vextar asked suspiciously. First, both girls are released unharmed the moment I arrive at the fortress. Not after I confess, not after I apologize, the moment I step foot on Keth Moran. Acceptable. Second, the execution is public but quick. No torture, no prolonged suffering. You get your symbolic victory, but you don't get to enjoy making me suffer. Lord Vextar considered this. Also acceptable. And third, Marcus said, I get 1 hour alone with both girls before the execution. To say goodbye. Very well. But Marcus Chen, understand this, if you try to escape, if you fight back, if you attempt any heroics, both girls will pay the price. The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in silence. Queen Zalthyra turned to Marcus, her eyes bright with unshed tears. There must be another way. I could attack the fortress with the entire fleet, and risk Sarah and Lyrelei getting hurt in the crossfire. Marcus shook his head. No, this is the only way to guarantee their safety. But what about you? The Queen asked. What about us? Marcus looked surprised. Us? Queen Zalthyra stepped closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. Did you think I brought your daughter here just to be kind? Did you think I chose you as Lyrelei's teacher randomly? I don't understand. Marcus Chen, the Queen said, her voice thick with emotion. In the past months, you have shown me what real leadership looks like. You have taught my daughter courage I never could have given her. You have changed how I see my empire, my people, my responsibilities as a ruler. She reached up and touched his face gently. You have also changed how I see love. Marcus felt his heart skip a beat. Your Majesty, my name is Zalthyra, she said, and I am asking you not as your queen, but as a woman who has grown to care for you deeply. Please don't go to that fortress. Marcus stared into her starlight eyes and saw something he had never expected to find. Real love. Not the love of power or position, but the love of one person for another. I care for you too, he said softly, more than I ever thought possible. But that's exactly why I have to go. I don't understand. Because that's what love means, Marcus explained. It means protecting the people you care about, even when it costs you everything. It means putting their safety above your own happiness. Queen Zalthyra closed her eyes, tears finally falling down her silver cheeks. Then let me come with you. Let me face my brother together with you. No, Marcus said firmly. The Empire needs you. Sarah and Lyrelei will need you to take care of them after After I'm gone, promise me you'll watch over my daughter. Promise me you'll help her become the doctor she wants to be. I promise, the queen whispered. But Marcus, I also promise you this. Your sacrifice will not be forgotten. What you have taught us about courage, about love, about putting others first, that will live on in this empire forever. Marcus kissed her forehead gently. That's all I can ask for. As preparations began for Marcus's journey to Kethmaran, neither he nor the queen knew that Princess Lyrelai and Sarah were planning something of their own. In their prison cells, the two young women were using everything Marcus had taught them about human ingenuity and Zephyrian power to create a plan that might save everyone. The question was, would they be able to execute it before it was too late? The ship changed course toward Kethmoran, carrying Marcus toward what everyone believed would be his death. But sometimes the greatest victories come from the most impossible situations, and sometimes the best teachers are the ones who inspire their students to surpass them. He took the blows for her daughter. Now the queen wants him forever. Part 5. Forever Bound. The ancient fortress of Kethmaran rose from the black rocks like a massive stone fang. Marcus stood on the transport shuttle, looking at the place where he was supposed to die. The fortress was thousands of years old, built when the Zephyrian Empire was young and cruel. Last chance to change your mind, Captain Zorith said quietly. He had volunteered to pilot Marcus to the fortress personally. The Queen's fleet is in position. We could attack— No, Marcus said firmly. Too risky for the girls. The shuttle landed in the fortress courtyard. Hundreds of Zephyrian soldiers surrounded them, their weapons trained on Marcus. Lord Vextar waited at the top of the stone steps, smiling coldly. Marcus walked forward, his hands empty and visible. He had refused to bring weapons, knowing it would only give Lord Vextar an excuse to hurt Sarah and Lyrelai. Welcome to Kethmaran, Marcus Chen, Lord Vextar said as Marcus climbed the steps. I trust your journey was comfortable. It will be your last. Where are the girls? Marcus demanded, safe as promised. Come, let me show you. Lord Vextar led Marcus through ancient stone corridors lit by glowing crystals. The fortress felt like a tomb, filled with the weight of thousands of years of Zephyrian history. They stopped at a heavy door guarded by 4 soldiers. Lord Vextar opened it, revealing a large cell with comfortable furnishings. Princess Lyrelai and Sarah sat together on a bench talking quietly. Dad! Sarah jumped up and ran to the cell door. Tears streamed down her face as she pressed her hands against the energy barrier. I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. If I hadn't come here— No, Marcus said firmly, his own eyes wet. This is not your fault. You did nothing wrong. Princess Lyrelai joined Sarah at the door. Marcus, you can't do this. There has to be another way. There is no other way, Lord Vextar said with satisfaction. Your human teacher has chosen death to save you both. How touching. Marcus studied both girls carefully. Something was different about them. They looked scared, but underneath the fear he saw something else. Determination. Hope. They were planning something. I want my hour alone with them, Marcus said to Lord Vextar. Of course. Guards, leave us. But remember, human, any attempt to escape will result in their deaths. The guards withdrew, but Marcus knew they were watching from hidden cameras. Lord Vextar himself left, confident in his victory. As soon as they were alone, Marcus moved close to the cell door. Are you both okay? He asked quietly.
Have they hurt you?
We're fine, Sarah said. But Dad, we have to tell you something. We have a plan, Princess Lyrelai whispered. But we need you to trust us. Marcus felt a surge of pride. Even in captivity, facing impossible odds, these 2 young women hadn't given up. They had learned everything he tried to teach them. Tell me, he said. Sarah pulled out a small device hidden in her shoe. It's a communication scrambler. I built it from parts Lyrelai got using her telepathy to confuse the guards. We've been in contact with Mother, Princess Lyrelai added. The Queen's fleet isn't just in position to attack. They're in position for something much more clever, she explained quickly. The Queen had realized that a direct assault would be too dangerous. Instead, she had contacted the Corvin Federation, the Vaxian Republic, and even human colonies throughout the galaxy. Marcus's story had spread. The maintenance worker who risked everything to save a princess, who taught courage through sacrifice instead of domination. You've become a symbol, Sarah said with pride. not just to humans but to every species that has ever been oppressed or looked down on by the major powers. The entire galaxy is watching what happens here today, Princess Lyrelei continued. Lord Vextar thinks he's staging a simple execution to prove human weakness. He doesn't realize he's about to show the galaxy what human strength really looks like. Marcus began to understand. The execution is being broadcast? Everywhere, Sarah confirmed. Every world, every species, every news network. If Lord Vextar follows through with killing you, he'll create a martyr that will unite the entire galaxy against the old Zephyrian Empire. And if he doesn't? Marcus asked. Princess Lyrelei smiled. Then he loses face in front of the entire galaxy and proves that the new Zephyrian Empire, Mother's Empire, is stronger than his old ideas. It was a brilliant plan. Lord Vextar had trapped himself. Either way, his cause was lost. But there's one more part, Sarah said. When the execution begins, you need to do exactly what you've always done, which is, stand up for what's right, no matter the cost, Princess Lyrelei said. Show the galaxy what real courage looks like. An hour later, Marcus stood in the fortress's great courtyard. Thousands of Zephyrian soldiers and nobles filled the space, while millions more watched through holographic broadcasts across the galaxy. Lord Vexistar stood on a raised platform, addressing the crowd. Citizens of the Zephyrian Empire, he shouted. Today we cleanse ourselves of the weakness that has infected our noble race. This human, Marcus Chen, has corrupted our princess and our queen with his primitive ideas about cooperation and equality. The crowd murmured, but Marcus noticed something. Not all of them seemed happy about what was happening. Some looked uncomfortable. Others appeared genuinely upset. Marcus Chen, Lord Vextar continued, you have confessed to being a spy sent to weaken our empire. You have admitted to filling our princess's mind with dangerous thoughts. Do you have any final words before justice is served? Marcus stepped forward. This was his moment. The entire galaxy was watching, waiting to see what he would do. I am not a spy, Marcus said clearly, his voice carrying across the courtyard and to every world watching. I am a father. I am someone who believes that protecting innocent people is more important than politics or power. Lord Vextar's face darkened. You dare lie even now? I'm not lying, Marcus continued. 6 months ago, I was a simple maintenance worker. I had one goal, to support my daughter and give her a better life. Then I saw Princess Lyrelei being attacked by 3 nobles who thought their power gave them the right to hurt a child. The crowd was completely silent now. Hanging on every word, I could have walked away, Marcus said. I should have walked away according to Zephyrian law. But I couldn't. Because when you see someone in need, when you see injustice happening in front of you, you have 2 choices. You can pretend you don't see it, or you can act. He turned to face Lord Vextar directly. You call my ideas primitive. You call cooperation and equality weakness. But I've seen what real strength looks like. It's Princess Lyrelei learning to defend herself and others. It's Queen Zalthyra choosing to rule through inspiration instead of fear. It's my daughter Sarah building communication devices from spare parts to save people she barely knows. Marcus's voice grew stronger, more passionate. Real strength isn't about having power over others. It's about using whatever power you have to lift others up. It's about being willing to sacrifice for people you care about. It's about standing up to bullies even when they're bigger and stronger than you. The crowd began to stir. Some nobles looked angry, but many of the soldiers and common citizens were nodding in agreement. You want to execute me to prove that humans are weak? Marcus said. Go ahead. But know this. Every person watching across the galaxy will remember what they saw here. They'll remember that you killed someone whose only crime was protecting a child and teaching courage. Lord Vextar raised his energy weapon, his face twisted with rage. Enough, your words cannot save you, human. They don't need to save me, Marcus said calmly. They just need to be true. Lord Vextar fired, but the energy blast never reached Marcus. Queen Zalthyra materialized in front of him, her own power deflecting her brother's attack. The execution is over, she announced, her voice ringing with absolute authority. Around the courtyard, the Queen's loyal forces revealed themselves. They had been disguised among Lord Vextar's soldiers all along, waiting for the right moment. Sister, Lord Vextar snarled, you dare interfere? I dare to save my empire from your stupidity. Queen Zalthyra cut him off. She gestured to the sky where hundreds of ships from dozens of different species had appeared. Look around you, brother. The entire galaxy just heard Marcus Chen speak about courage, sacrifice, and standing up for what's right. Do you think they're impressed by your display of power? Lord Vextar looked at the ships, then at his own soldiers. Many of them had lowered their weapons, unwilling to fight against their queen and the man who had become a symbol of hope across the galaxy. This isn't over, Lord Vextar warned, but his voice lacked conviction. Yes, it is, Queen Zalthyra said firmly. You are stripped of all titles and banished from the Empire. Your followers may choose exile with you, or loyalty to the new Zephyrian Empire that values all species equally. Most of Lord Vextar's soldiers chose to stay. As he was led away in defeat, the crowd began to cheer, not for violence or domination, but for justice and courage. Later, in the Queen's private chambers aboard the Eternal Dawn, Marcus sat with Sarah, Princess Lyrelli, and Queen Zalthyra. The crisis was over, but the real work was just beginning. So what happens now? Marcus asked. Queen Zalthyra took his hand. Now we build the future we talked about. An empire based on cooperation instead of fear. A galaxy where species work together instead of fighting each other.